In a world of dragons, Daedra, and divine prophecy, it takes a lot to stand out in Skyrim. Most cities do so through grandeur, Solitude with its political power, Whiterun with its central role in the main quest, Markarth with its crumbling beauty. Others stay small but vital, like Riverwood or Iverstead. And then there's Dawnstar, a snow-blasted port town along the north coast, always howling, always shivering, always half asleep. Even during the day, you might not think much of it when you first arrive. But stay long enough, walk its crooked paths, speak to its people, dig into the lore, and you'll realise something quite unsettling. Dawnstar is haunted, but not in the way that makes ghosts jump from corners, but in a deeper, quieter, more permanent way. This is a town that never rests, never recovers, and never truly heals. It's cursed with memories, plagued by dreams, and surrounded by a history that everyone seems to want to forget. And the more you look, the colder it gets. Dawnstar is isolated, tucked between jagged mountains and a frozen shoreline. It's not a place you stumble into casually. It's windswept, sparse, and grim. The buildings are modest and slumped, like they're tired of standing upright. But the strangeness begins before you even speak to anyone. The people here walk slowly, they speak in low tones, their eyes dart nervously, not because they're plotting anything, but because they're afraid to say too much. Many of them are sleepless, literally. When you ask around, you find that nearly every resident is suffering from terrible nightmares. Some are hallucinating, some are growing violent, some are simply breaking under the weight of the insomnia. This isn't just a flavour of local dialogue, it's the beginning of a major Daedric quest, the Waking Nightmare. And like most Daedric quests, it suggests something chilling. This isn't a recent problem. Dawnstar's been haunted for years. The quest Waking Nightmare reveals the truth. Dawnstar's people are being cursed in their sleep. Every night, the Daedric Prince, goddess of dreams and nightmares, sends visions that grind away at their sanity. You discover that her artifact, the Skull of Corruption, is hidden away in the nearby temple, Nightcaller Temple, looming on the hill above the town like a watching eye. But why is it there? Because long ago the temple was abandoned, and during the Great War the priests of Vermina used forbidden magic to trap an entire band of marauding orcs within a dream. That dream, twisted, violent, and infinite, still lingers in the temple's halls, but it's bleeding out onto Dawnstar, into its people and into its knights. You eventually enter the temple alongside the priest Erendar and banish the skull or choose to keep it. But even after the quest ends, the town doesn't feel any better. Lore books in Skyrim tell us that Dawnstar was once one of the most powerful settlements in the north. It served as the capital of Skyrim during the Second Era, long before Windhelm or Solitude rose to political prominence. Now, it's a mining town, a broken dock, a place that nobody visits unless they're on the way to something else. There's no grandeur left, no stronghold, no monuments to its history. Only a few weary Nords clinging to jobs in the Quicksilver mine, which itself is plagued by tension and unpaid debts. The land feels tired, the sea feels angry, the streets feel like they were made for more people who currently live there. It's a city in decline, but more than that, it feels like a city that remembers what it once was, and hates itself for the comparison. If you side with the Stormcloaks in the Civil War, Dawnstar becomes a military seat, a reward handed to Ulfric's general. If you side with the Imperials, it stays under the control of Jarl Skuld the Elder, an aggressive and prideful man who refuses to accept the end of the Empire's influence. But regardless of who wins, the town doesn't change. No new buildings, no economic revitalization, no safety implements. The mine still functions on the brink of collapse, the guards still shuffle without energy, and the people still whisper in fear and exhaustion. Dawnstar is a political pawn, but one that's been handled so many times no one really wants it anymore. Even its position in the war feels like an afterthought. It's like trying to build a kingdom in a graveyard. As if dreams and politics weren't enough, there's another layer of dread waiting for you in the form of the Mythic Dawn Museum. The same cult that once assassinated the Emperor and opened Oblivion gates across Cyrodiil. In Dawnstar, a man named Silas runs a private museum in his family's house. He proudly showcases relics, including books, weapons, and armour. He's not ashamed, he's obsessed. And eventually he asks you to help him reassemble Maroon's razor, a Daedric artifact capable of killing instantly. You can go through with it, you can even betray him, but the point is, no one in the town stops him. They know he's there, they know what the Mythic Dawn did, but they let him continue, because in Dawnstar, evil isn't defeated, it's just tolerated. It's easy to forget that Dawnstar is a port. The Northern Sea laps at its shores, and several boats bob quietly in the harbour. But there's no trade, no movement, no exports or imports, just silence. There's even a lighthouse, Frostflow Lighthouse, which I've talked about before, located further along the coast. Visit it and you'll uncover one of the saddest and darkest side quests in the game. A family eaten alive by Charus, leaving only blood trails and torn journals behind. That's Dawnstar's coast. Instead of bringing food, travellers, or opportunity, it brings death and boredom. And the people here have adapted. They don't look to the ocean with hope. They look to it with weariness, like they know it might swallow them next. The Wind Peak Inn is the town's social hub, or it should be, but most nights it's almost empty. Innkeeper Thoring has little to say. His daughter Karita occasionally sings, but always sad, slow songs that seem less for the guests and more for the ghosts. When you rent a room, it feels cold. The fire flickers like it's tired. The walls feel thin like they're listening. And even in sleep, you don't feel rested. There are inns in Skyrim that feel alive, like the Bennett Mare in Whiterun or the Winking Skeever in Solitude. But Wind Peak? It feels like a place people come to forget. And they never quite succeed. Dawnstar has a few children, notably Aventus Arantino. The boy who starts the Dark Brotherhood questline is originally from Dawnstar before ending up in Windhelm. But there's also another child, Fruki's daughter, who plays with no one, who wanders the streets alone, and who says almost nothing. You can adopt her if Hearthfire is installed, but no one in the town seems to care either way. There's something quietly tragic about the children in Dawnstar. They seem to carry the weight of sleepless parents, fading traditions, and a town that has no room left for joy. They don't dream of becoming adventurers. They don't even play. They simply just endure. There are no easy roads out of Dawnstar. Head west and you find steep mountain trails towards Morthal, which is another eerie town. Head east and you encounter dangerous snowfields and frost trolls. South takes you toward Nightcaller Temple, or worse, Winterhold, itself a ruined shell of a city. Dawnstar isn't just alone culturally, it's geographically isolated as well. No trade routes, no protection, no backup. If something went wrong here, say a blizzard, or an invasion, or a Daedric catastrophe, it's likely that no one would even hear about it in time to help. Dawnstar is a town on the edge of the world, and it feels like it knows it too. Here's the thing about Dawnstar. You don't spend much time here, but you remember it. You remember the way your breath fogs in the air while talking to a sleep-deprived miner. You remember the sound of the waves against the rocks. You remember the way the townspeople glance nervously at the horizon, like they expect it to crack open. And more than anything, you remember that Dawnstar never felt safe. Not from Daedra, not from history, not from itself. It's not a city that grows on you. It's one that lingers in you. Because true hauntedness isn't about jump scares or undead enemies. It's about quiet places where people suffer slowly and no one comes to help.